2 surprise returns, 1 shocking finish, and 1 title change, and that all happened in the opening match of the night. I'm Erich Dante, and this is a recap of Hell in a Cell. Wow, so Hell in a Cell started off with the John Cena US Open Challenge, and who answers the Open Challenge? Alberto Del Rio. Holy smokes, that came out of nowhere. I did not see that coming. I don't think anybody saw that coming. The match was your standard Cena Del Rio match that we've seen a bunch of times before, and shockingly enough, Del Rio ends up winning with that kneeling super kick. I'm blown away right now. I totally didn't see this coming. Very cool, and I'm excited to see where Del Rio takes the US title and what he does with Zeb Coulter by his side. In the first Hell in a Cell match of the night, Roman Reigns took on Bray Wyatt in a pretty good, solid, vicious match. There were 3 really cool table spots. The first one, Bray Wyatt hit Roman Reigns with the Uranagi off the apron through a table onto the floor. The second, Roman Reigns hit a powerbomb, and the third, Roman hit a running spear off the apron onto a table on the floor. All 3 look really cool. They look really vicious. The finish came with Bray Wyatt setting up a couple of kendo sticks in the corner. He tried to throw Roman into them, but Roman turned it around. Bray went face first into the kendo stick, and then Roman hit the ropes and hit a running spear for the pin and the win. Is this the end of the Reigns versus Wyatt family feud? I don't know. I don't think it is. With Survivor Series around the corner, I think we're going to have one last final battle with the Wyatt family versus Reigns, Ambrose. Yeah, I don't think this is the end. This is a good match, but this is not the end of this feud. Next up was the tag team title match between the New Day and the Dudley Boyz. It was your standard tag team match between these 2 teams. One cool moment was when Kofi tried to do the Eddie Guerrero spot where he throws a weapon at Bubba Ray and falls down to try to get the disqualification win. The referee, though, ended up not counting the disqualification because he didn't see Bubba Ray use the weapon. The finish came with Big E actually using the trombone on Bubba Ray when the referee wasn't looking, and Kofi hitting Bubba Ray with the Trouble in Paradise. New Day retains the tag team titles. Hopefully this is the end of this feud. I'm actually kind of tired of seeing these 2 teams go up against each other week in and week out. It'd be great to see the Dudley Boyz take on a brand new team. Same thing with the New Day, maybe the primetime players again. Just any new teams really. Next up was the women's title match with Charlotte defending against Nikki Bella. The story of the match was Nikki Bella working over Charlotte's back, with the question being, would Charlotte be able to put on the figure 8 with her back being injured? At one point, Nikki Bella actually hit Charlotte with an Alabama slam onto the ring apron, Kevin Owens style. Looked really nasty. The finish came with Nikki trying to put on the rack attack, but Charlotte got out of it and managed to put her in the figure 8 for the submission win. Next up was the WWE title match with Seth Rollins and Kane. Let's be honest, there was no way Kane was going to win this match, so there wasn't really an air of excitement or unpredictability going in. There was an awkward table spot about halfway into the match where Kane tried to chokeslam Seth Rollins through the announce table, but Seth reversed it and turned it into a powerbomb onto the Spanish announce table, except the announce table didn't break. It kind of just fell over. They played it off well though. Kane managed to get back into the ring and they continued the match from there. One cool moment was when Seth Rollins went to the top rope and hit a frog splash. It didn't get the pin, but it got a really nice Eddie Guerrero chant. The second Eddie Guerrero spot of the night. And the finish came with Seth just hitting the pedigree and getting the clean pin. The Intercontinental title match was up next with Kevin Owens defending against Ryback. This was a boring match. There's nothing really to say about it, but Kevin won with the pop-up powerbomb. Hopefully this is the last time these 2 face off because they've never really meshed well in the ring. It always looks kind of sloppy when Owens and Ryback are in the ring together, and I'd love to see Kevin move on to somebody a bit more mobile like Kalisto or somebody smaller. In the main event of the evening, Undertaker took on Brock Lesnar in the second Hell in a Cell match of the night. Early on in the match, Lesnar was able to hit a couple suplexes and a couple F5s, but that wasn't enough to put Undertaker away. Undertaker responded by putting Brock Lesnar into the Hell's Gate, and Lesnar got out by just standing up and throwing a whole bunch of crazy looking punches. They looked vicious. At one point, Lesnar ripped open the middle of the ring, exposing the layers of wood underneath, and he was about to hit an F5 on Undertaker, but Undertaker turned it into a choke slam. Then he hit Lesnar with a tombstone onto the wood, but only got a 2 count. The finish came with Brock Lesnar low blowing the Undertaker and then hitting the F5 on the wood for the pin. At the end of the match, the Undertaker got a standing ovation, which was really nice. And then out of nowhere, the Wyatt family came down, beat him up, and took him out, most likely setting up a feud for Survivor Series, which is the next pay-per-view in November. And maybe we'll see the Undertaker team up with Kane and reunite the Brothers of Destruction. And maybe those two will team up with Ambrose and Reigns so that they'll have a classic 4-on-4 for Survivor Series. So overall, an okay show. It wasn't great, it wasn't bad. It started off really well with a US Open challenge and the surprise of seeing Del Rio and Zeb Coulter back, and Del Rio winning the US title. But then after that, the show just kind of kept going down in excitement and in interest. And it finally picked back up with the Undertaker-Brock Lesnar match at the end. So what did you guys think of Hell in a Cell? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Leave your comments below. And before I go, I want to do something new in this episode. Shout out. The first shout out goes to Max Landis, who was in the crowd tonight. If you don't know him, Max Landis is the writer who wrote the movie Chronicle. And he also did a really popular YouTube video called Wrestling Isn't Wrestling. And if you haven't seen it, it's great. I'll put the link in the description below. And the second shout out goes out to the Muscle Temple team. Muscle Temple is a group of animators and cartoonists who are fans of pro wrestling. And they're also putting out a wrestling related comic book, which you can find on Kickstarter. I'll put that link in the description as well. And that's it for me. Follow me on Twitter at Recap Show. And if you haven't already, click subscribe down. And if you haven't already, click the subscribe button below to subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys at the next pay-per-view.